back to our channel. Raisa here with High Society Cane Corso. This is going to be episode number 2 of Cane Corso Conversations. And today we're going to talk about how big will my Corso get. We're going to talk about some averages and then how to kind of tell whether your dog is healthy on something called the body conditioning score. But before we get started, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. According to the AKC, males will range anywhere from 25 inches to 27.5 inches tall, with a weight averaging between 99 and 110 pounds, with females ranging in height from 23.5 inches to 26 inches tall. And also their weight range is a little bit lower at 88 to 99 pounds. Keep in mind that every dog is different. Some dogs weigh less than this and are still healthy. Some dogs weigh a lot more than this and are still healthy. Like for example, here with us, our dog Stripes is probably, I would say, between 120 and 130, if not more. But you can tell by looking at her body, she's still healthy. She has a lot of big bone density and a lot of muscle tone, and that just adds on to her weight. But in no way is she overweight for her size. So how you can tell that is by looking at something called a body conditioning score with dogs. Now, there is a diagram up on our Instagram, and our Instagram is at High Society Cane Corso, and you can take a look at that. I'll also put our Instagram information down in the description. But basically, there's 5 different categories to the body conditioning score. The first category is skinny. The second category is undernourished. The third is optimal. Fourth is overnourished, and the fifth is corpulent. So how you can tell, there's 3 main areas on a dog's body that you can really tell where they're holding weight: the rib cage, the spine, and the pelvic bone area on your dog. So if the dog is in the skinny category, you're going to see basically a dog that looks like a skeleton with a skin over it. The dog is extremely skinny, and you can see all of those bones on the body. The pelvic bones are going to be outward, and you can really see them. They're like really going to be poking out, and basically the dog is kind of looking like it's starved to death. Now, undernourished, you can still see all of the rib cages and things like that, but the dog does have more of an hourglass figure. It's not completely just hollowed out. And the dog will also have an hourglass shape on the undernourished category. Now with optimal, this is where you really want your dog to be. This is where they're going to be the healthiest. And with that, what you're going to see is the rib, spine, and pelvic bone, you can feel under the skin. The dog has a nice defined waist. It's not too skinny, it's not overweight. And that diagram, really, when you look up body conditioning score, will help you see it visually. It's a lot easier to see it visually than it is kind of to talk about it. So overnourished means that the dog is a little bit on the heavier side. That quarantine weight definitely caught up to them. I know it's caught up to me too. What you're going to see is a disproportionate of shape. So like the tuck is not going to be good. They're not going to have a well-defined waist. The dog's going to probably be a little bit more square and boxy. Heavier. Now, all of this, when your dog is overweight, just as with humans, it does put pressure on your joints, and especially with Cane Corso, it's important to keep them in an optimal health range because the joints are really sensitive on them, just with them being very large breed dogs. And the 5th category, being corpulent, means the dog has excessive amounts of weight packed in around the ribs, the chest area, the tail is even fat. You've seen these dogs. I mean, they're like waddling around, and that's a really big danger zone for your dog. But what we are seeing a lot of right now is people really overfeeding their dogs because everybody here wants the biggest dog possible. And that's fine and all, but you're going to see issues probably later down the road with health concerns, joint issues. I've seen a lot of dogs right now with diabetes, being on a lot of other medications, and that's not the best life for your dog to be living. If you are wanting a larger dog, go with a breeder who has a larger stock that they're breeding from. So higher bone density. I know a lot of the American lines with Cane Corso do have thicker bone density. They look a little bit heavier, but they're still really healthy. The European lines tend to be on the smaller side of those ranges that we've mentioned. So that's just something to keep in mind. Go with the breeder that has the dog that you want. What you want to do is look at both the parents. If you like both the parents, then go ahead and get a puppy, as long as everything else checks out with the breeder. And we have another video up about how to choose the best breeder for you, so go ahead and check that out as well. But you don't want to force your dog to be something that it's not either. So I promise you that your dog will grow as big as it's genetically supposed to. You don't need to force it. Like, there's a lot of people that get the puppy and they want the puppy to like eat everything, get really big really quickly, and that's dangerous for their joints because as a puppy, the joints are like floating in that space. So when you're putting a bunch of added pressure, things can just not fuse properly. The dog's just not going to be healthy in the long run. So, and promise you with Cane Corso, they have wonky phases. You're going to look at the dog and you'll be like, oh, the dog is ugly today. Like, You're gonna go through that phase right now. Lycan's in that phase. He looks lanky just because he's in that growing phase, and they go through that growing until they really level off and become what they're supposed to be in the end. And that's fine. There's nothing to be worried. There's nothing wrong with his structure being that way. Every dog will have a wonky phase. You just got to sit and be patient with it. The best way for your dog and you is just enjoy them, be patient with their growth process, and I promise you'll be happy with the results in the end. But anyways, thanks guys for watching. Until next time.